right, welcome to Life Extension Live. I'm Dr. Mike Smith, and I'm here with Dr. Crystal Gossert. Welcome, Dr. Crystal. You look great.
Thank you. My fall colors.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I noticed you're in your kitchen.
Yes,
So,
we are going to be cooking up a wonderful fall-inspired recipe
all
today.
right, awesome. Love the fall. This time of the year, it's really awesome, right? So we have more of the root vegetables. We have more of what are called the warm spices. For me, Dr. Crystal, the fall is kind of the beginning of that holiday season. It's fun, it's food, and it's family, right? I love that. And
Yes.
so I'm excited to see what you have in store for us today. I think you're going to be making something that's called muesli.
Yes, I am. And muesli can be consumed warm or cold. It's actually a take on oatmeal. So
Yeah.
you have the oats and you can buy the muesli prepared already with the oats. Usually it contains dried fruit, sometimes nuts. And so it's kind of like this fall oat granola like, but
Right.
the oats aren't cooked. And then you can consume it in this version, which is more of an
Yeah.
uncooked version, overnight oats. Some people, that's kind of a new fancy way of eating your oatmeal.
Yeah.
And or you can cook with it. So what we'll be making is an overnight version of muesli.
Right. And we're going to be using the warm spices of fall. And
Yes.
so we're going to talk a little bit about the flavor that some of the warm spices are adding, but at the same time we'll talk a little bit about the health benefits.
Yes.
Because the warm spices are really good for you, and so we want to bring that out as well in this recipe. So let's get started, Dr. Crystal. I think I don't know where you're at right now in the building of the muesli. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what you're doing, and as you add in the spice, let's talk a little bit about that spice.
All right. Yes. So what we're starting with is 4 tablespoons of unflavored yogurt. And make sure your yogurt says the words probiotic on the front. That's a
Ooh,
new thing now
okay.
because all yogurt may not be considered a probiotic. Just because it's fermented doesn't mean it's a probiotic. It has to have those beneficial bacteria that have been studied and researched to have a probiotic effect, a good
Yeah.
effect
Now,
in
does
the
it
gut.
matter if? What about? Can you do full fat yogurt, low fat yogurt? Does that really matter in the recipe?
I like full fat yogurt.
It
That's
tastes
just that
better.
it's just like it tastes better, but yeah, it doesn't matter. You can actually use any type of milk of your choosing as well. So right now, I am using a fat-free organic milk with some extra lactase enzymes
Okay. All right.
to help with digestion. So you actually have some milk in there, actually 3 tablespoons of milk, and add that in. And then the next thing you'll see are your oats and a little bit of chia seeds. So the
Oh,
oats will
nice.
give you, and the chia combine, great sources of fiber. You can get some omega-3 fats from the chia seed as
Right.
well, some of
Yeah.
the ALA fat. So you just mix that together
Yeah.
and
Nice,
just a
nice
hand.
balance of the healthy fats there, and I like that about like chia
Exactly.
seeds. I think is a great source of getting some of the omegas. That's really good. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then more fiber with a handful of almonds. Now I actually just literally put a handful in there and you mix it up.
So
Now,
you're
in
not you're
regard,
not now. Do you end up blending this like with a blender, or is it all just hand mixing here?
it's all hand mixing.
Oh, that's even easier. Yeah, we
It's
like that.
even easier, right? So then now it's time for the spices.
All right, here
And
we go.
let's
What's the
talk
first one?
about cinnamon. Cinnamon is our first spice. And you can see if you buy the cinnamon sticks, you'll get more of an idea of what cinnamon actually is because it is the bark of a
The bark of a
tree.
tree. Yeah, yeah. Hey,
And
here's your quiz question, Doctor
okay.
Crispa. I, when do we have the first evidence that cinnamon was being used in recipes and stuff?
Oh, and recipes, I would have to say
It was a long
I
time
have
ago.
no idea, but
It
I
was a
do
long,
know.
it was a long, long time ago.
Yes.
2000 BC.
Wow.
Yep.
Yes, that's a long time. But cinnamon is great. What's giving cinnamon a lot of that beneficial flavor is coming from the oils in cinnamon.
Okay.
And a little bit goes a long way. So you can see, I'm just putting just a pinch of cinnamon into my muesli.
And I mean, it's important, do you taste as you go along to make, like, maybe I need a little bit more cinnamon, or you just kind of already know what you like?
Well, it all depends. If I'm making it for myself, I will taste it. But if I'm making it for the family, not so much. I try to be aware of, the fact that I'm feeding other people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I usually but you could. I mean, everything in here is already cooked. There are no raw ingredients, so you can taste it and flavor it as you desire. The next spice that we'll be putting in is also a little bit of allspice. I mean,
Okay.
I probably one pinch is probably too much because
Okay.
allspice can overpower your dish.
So here's what's funny about allspice. I thought it had all spices.
Me too.
Like I thought,
I
I
can
thought, I thought,
remember.
I thought somebody collected a bunch of different spices and called it allspice, but that's not the case at all. It's
Right. If you're looking for a combination of spices, you want to go with the pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice is actually a blend of clove,
right.
of
Okay, I've heard
cinnamon,
that.
of
Yeah. Okay.
nutmeg, of ginger. But you can't really control the amounts of those spices. So I kind of like to, this is my nutmeg right here. The next ingredient, just a little pinch of nutmeg,
Yeah,
not much.
you're not using a lot of the spices. I thought you were going to be a little more aggressive.
No, I'm not, because this is going to be for my kids.
Okay. Yeah. There you
And
go.
they
Yeah.
they
Put it.
just
You got
don't
it.
like too much.
Yeah.
Now,
You
but
got to put it in. Yeah. They don't want all of it too much, right? Yeah.
exactly. So the next spice, I have it here. It's not in a bowl because I don't have a grinder. And so I improvise when I'm at home. But this is cardamom, and I'm going
Oh,
to
very good. Okay.
put it in my hand just so that you can see the cardamom. I
Yeah.
think we have a good shot
Great.
there of the
Yeah.
cardamom.
Cardamom, anti-inflammatory, even maybe antibacterial. Really
Yes.
good. I mean, there's some evidence that it can lower inflammation quite significantly. It's good.
Yes, and cardamom is actually a seed that's found inside a fruit that's kind of in the ginger family. So you can buy the cardamom, and with all of your spices, even with the cinnamon stick, I usually will boil the cinnamon sticks. But if you want the best flavor from your spices, you really should buy them in their whole form and grind them yourself.
Grind them up. Right. Yeah. I think that's,
Yes,
yeah,
that will
I've heard that.
enhance the flavor. So we put in some cinnamon, allspice, a little nutmeg, and this is not on the recipe, and we'll make sure the recipe is posted in the chat. But ginger, I like ginger in everything,
So
Dr.
you
Mike.
just added, you did. So you're going to add it here, aren't you?
I'm going to add it here, Dr. Mike, just a little bit, because my kids, they are just like, it's too
Oh,
spicy.
that's good.
So
Good stuff.
my husband thinks they should just get over it and get their taste buds used to the spice, which may or may not be a good
Yes, and
idea.
you introduce them young, right, to different flavors and tastes and spices. I think that's great. So we have the cinnamon, great for healthy blood sugar levels,
Yes.
healthy lipids. We have the allspice, good for
Hmm.
digestion. Even if you feel a little gassy, allspice
Yes.
could be beneficial. Cardamom, we talked about its anti-inflammatory effects, and then nutmeg's just a great antioxidant. Right?
And ginger. So yes, ginger is great for all around anti-inflammatory nutrient as well as digestion. And so there you have it, really quick. You put this together the night before, and I have some that I already made up just so you can see the difference between the consistency, the texture of the before and after. And what you'll find, so this is before, this is after. So what you'll find before, it's still kind of like a yogurt-like, pudding-like texture. And what you'll find that it thickens as it sits because the chia seed starts swelling and capturing some of that liquid. You're not putting a whole lot of, you're not putting a whole lot of milk in there. So this is the finished product.
Are you going to add, so when you serve that, is that how you serve it? Or are you going to add some other stuff? Like what do you do?
It's a nice little pudding. The kids think that it's a dessert. And so when I serve it to the kids, I don't give them that much, but I usually will eat a little more. Then you can top it however you'd like. So I have fresh blueberries, antioxidants, great for brain health. You know, we talk about our brain health and the mind diet. Blueberries, that's a key ingredient to support.
But you could do other, I mean, if you wanted to stick with the fall fruits, you could do pears, apples. That would all go. Pumpkin.
You can roast pumpkin, have the pumpkin in there, pumpkin seeds. So that is,
I love those. I love them.
They're so great. So you can just put some pumpkin seeds to give your muesli texture and add some of those beneficial components from the pumpkin. And there you have it.
That's awesome.
I'm going to put a few more blueberries.
That's awesome. Are you going to eat some?
I'm going to give it a try.
Yes, you got to give a big bite. Come on now.
Big bite.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That looked good.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it made her do the dance, the food dance.
Dr. Mike is so good.
It looks good. It looks refreshing. Like it looks, I don't know. It looks like something you could do breakfast, lunch, dinner. You could, I like that.
When the chia seeds swell, it almost gives it this pudding-like texture. So it makes you feel happy. The recipe actually came from a book called The Happiness Diet. And it's a recipe that Life Extension published in our magazine. And I said, it's fall. You want to feel happy during the fall season. Awesome. Fall just makes you, when you see the leaves and the colors.
Family food. Fun family food.
Yes. And so you add your spices. And then even after the fact, if you want to add a little bit more.
So you could cater it to kind of what you want to do, Yeah, that's nice.
Exactly. So it's a great way to bring in fall. I want all of you to try the recipe at home. It's so easy.
Yeah. Now here's something. Do you think other recipes would add sugar to this to sweeten it up? And if you wanted to, are there better sugars to add?
So yes, you could add a little bit of honey, a little bit of maple syrup, but really I would encourage all of you to try to start tapering down your sweet tooth, because once you add in a lot of the natural sugars from fruit, from the strawberries, from your blueberries, you will find as you start cutting out more of like the raw sugar and adding in the sugar from the fruit, you'll find that it's just sweet enough.
That's awesome. I love that. And so we have the diet, we have the book that was written up in one of our articles. We also have a nice little landing page for you. If you go to lifeextension.com/spices.
Yes, there's an article there that covers the spices that we talked about, as well as several other anti-inflammatory spices.
Yeah. You're going to finish that whole thing, aren't you, once we're done?
I am.
You should. It looks great. Share some with your family. You got kids and a husband. They're hungry.
Okay. Well, they will have the one that we made up today. This is the one that I made yesterday, and it's all for me.
All right. Great job, Dr. Christo. That looks fantastic. So, hey, it's fall. It's time to enjoy some of those warm spices. We covered a few of them. Listen, they're good for you too. They taste good. They add so much to food, but they're also healthy for you. So,
Mhm.
dive in to the warm spices of fall and enjoy this time of year coming up. Thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Mike. Don't forget, we go live every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Dr. Crystal, thanks for joining me.
Thank
Bye bye, everyone.